Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Rage Into the Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Rage Into channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Podcast, it's Critical Blast.
For 300 years, the story of the 47 Ronin has resonated throughout Japanese culture. 47 Furious Tales brings this epic to life with fierce samurai action and anthropomorphic animal characters in a beautiful 12-issue limited comic book series. Now, after 2 successful campaigns brought you issues 1 and 2 to the world, we bring you issue 3 with 24 action-packed pages. Journey with us into the past and experience the beauty and ferocity of the age. Yoshio leads the samurai of the Eiko against the brutal bandits of the Grey Wolf, while Lord Asano makes his final faithful voyage to Edo. All is not ceremony and sake, for the life of a samurai is one steeped in war and death, honor and duty. Steel flashes and blood flows in 47 Furious Tales issue 3.
Pledge today for your copy of 47 Furious Tales Issue 3 and the Artist Edition Volume 1, collecting the original hand-inked, unlettered art pages of issues 1, 2, and 3 into one beautiful volume.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, Myopic Proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing, and yes, I still answer the phones and cash checks for Critical Blast Consulting. We are delving once more tonight into some crowdfunded comics, and we are going to kick it over on Kickstarter with Mr. W.S. Quinton from Sinopa. And I'm just going to say hi. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
How's it going, man?
You know, if I was feeling any better, my boss would probably insist I go be tested.
I feel that.
Yeah, it's it's been a good week. Wrapping up, we do the fulfillment, wrapping up one fulfillment thing. Wrapped up one in a 3-day turnaround. It's already out the door. Anybody who ordered the Exilium books, they are on their way. You should have already had an email saying here they come. And we're, putting the final touches on The Embrace, which is a hotly anticipated book. So it's out there. It's in the wild, folks. You're gonna be seeing them soon. What about you, man? What's going on with the 47 Furious Tales? How have people been reacting to that?
Well, we launched the same day that Mr. Sanderson launched his surprise 5-novel pack. At the same time as my dear friend Max Phil launched his campaign, and we both ran headlong, actually same day that Alpha Dogs 2 launched too. And we all three ran headlong into a huge amount of latency on Kickstarter. But thankfully that's mostly gone now, and people, as they pledge, will now gradually see their pledges showing up quicker than they did the day before yesterday on the first.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been absolutely phenomenal. We have, I think we have 82 backers now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it just popped up a second ago while we were running the
Yeah.
pre-vids.
We've actually already reached our goal. We've already passed our first stretch goal, and we are heading towards our. Wow, that actually got away from me. Sorry. We're actually heading towards our second stretch goal, 5,000. So I think we'll, with any luck, we'll probably be there in a couple of days.
I think so. The thing with Kickstarter, the thing with crowdfunding in general is you always have that hot spike the first couple of days there, and then it's just kind of like, okay, well, I think I'm going to wait till it's closer to time, and catch me when it's over, and I'll jump in on the last day, and then it spikes again. And I don't think there's really a way around that. I'm one of the people I jump in on the last day of stuff with Kickstarter.
Well, the trick on that, I think, is to continually put new eyes on the campaign throughout the entirety of the progress. So, I try to schedule things a month ahead of time where possible, and make sure that I have my calendar pretty much full. Appear on every show, talk to every blogger, get on every podcast I can to introduce the title, the project to new eyes continually throughout the campaign. And that served really, really well with Ring of Ages particularly. We saw a very steady growth trend in that campaign. And hopefully we continue to see consistent progress throughout 47.
Yeah, and with the idea of getting in front of more eyes, folks in the chat, if you would share this video, please. It's not to get more people seeing me, but it's to put Will's book in front of more eyeballs so that they can get out there and see about that book, and then hit the link below and pinned at the top of the chat. Either one, your choice, and go out there and back this book. If you like anthropomorphic tales that are not Looney Tunes. This is a Mutant Turtles book. I'm talking original Mutant Turtles book, not the cartoonified Mutant Turtles, Eastman and Laird level stuff. Speaking of which, when you decided to adapt the story of the 47 Ronin,
yes,
what made you why'd you pick squirrels to do this with?
Well,
they're not known for their discipline.
Yeah, they're really not. But what happened was I was looking to expand into comics because we've been producing role-playing games for a little bit and still do. But I wanted to get into comics as well because it's been a lifelong ambition, really. And I was on the internet looking at something, and I saw this little meme flash by. Or a little GIF rather flash by of these two squirrels fighting with lightsabers, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then I paged over because, like I said, I was just cruising the internet for a moment, taking a break, and I saw this image of a squirrel in full samurai attire, and I thought, you know what? And for whatever reason, I said I can tell a samurai story using squirrels. We can tell the story of the 47 Ronin, and it'll be cool. And I'm like, what am I going to call it? 47. And I went through a bunch of different names that I didn't like, and then I finally hit upon 47 Furious Tales. And I wrote down and I made a couple of notes. And I had a thing I was putting forth into the work group I run on Facebook for the fantastic freelancers who create art for Sinopa books. And I put out among the options 47 Furious Tales, the story of the 47 Ronin told through anthropomorphic animal characters, and like right off the bat, Alexia Veldhausen's like, that's mine, I'm doing that. I'm like, all right. And we haven't looked back. It's been one of those things where we just keep pushing ever forward.
So you rejected the concept of calling it bushy-tailed Bushido?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. That was a good call.
That was never even thought of. So
that's how bad the title was. Yes. But it's been well received. I mean, you're not just crowdfunding now. You're actually getting this into stores, right?
Right. I ship directly to participating retailers, both through those who support and help our crowdfunding numbers by their own unique backer tier, and then also by pre-orders for stores who aren't comfortable saying, hey, we're supporting indie books through crowdfunding. Because some are a little concerned because they're like, well, we don't want every single comic crowdfunding campaign knocking on our door. And I can understand that.
Sure.
But it's been really good. It's these first few days have really been remarkable. We've funded so far much better than we did on our previous campaign effort, and of course we reached goal right off the bat. And the goal was far different than the first time we tried to fund issue 3, because I had the advantage this time of investing a lot more of my own money in it. For example, I've already paid Alexia entirely, so that really knocked the goal down to the bare bones.
Oh, yeah.
And so we launched with 500, and we hit goal within the first hour. I'm happy to say that my friend Max DeVille, he hit his goal within his first hour with a Ninja Bimbos versus Zombies from Outer Space.
That's on my list. I got to get that one.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job with that. He's a wonderful storyteller. And yeah, we are right now hoping to get to 100 backers tonight or tomorrow night. Tonight would be better. So if you're watching this and haven't pledged yet, you know what to do. We've got a couple of retailers I've already set up. One's already pledged their retailer tier, which bumped us to where we're at now at 2,800. And then we've got 4 other retailers that I have to finalize their numbers in the next couple of days. So we are pushing hard to get to that next stretch goal, hopefully within the next 7 days or so.
Okay. So issue number 3 here, and you can still get 1 and 2. This takes you 25% of the way through the entire 12-issue run. Is this a point where you get a trade paperback break point, or are you going to wait till it's all 12 done and just do the omnibus?
We're probably going to do just the full omnibus, but one thing we are doing is we're putting together these artist edition volumes, and they are every 3 issues. We're compiling these into these artist editions. They're in the same digest size as the comic is, the 6x9. And these are the raw hand-inked pages without the lettering, so you can literally see those raw art pages. Because the thing about comic art is that it can be very, very expensive if you're buying original pages. And so for a lot of folks, that just isn't within reach. But with the artist edition, you can actually see all of those gorgeous pages, plus several of the character design materials that were done, and bring it all together so that it's nice and convenient and easily enjoyed at a really good price point.
So I heard you say that these are a 6x9 size
Correct.
floppy. Why go with such a condensed size? I mean, why not just a standard size floppy?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that I knew that we were going to put together all of the issues at the end. And that 6x9 digest size, aside from being more convenient for fitting even people who have small bookshelves, is one of those things that, financially speaking, it's actually cheaper to get hardcover at 6x9 than it is like a trade paperback size and digest at that by quite a lot. And so that would help us to be able to bring that to market at a lower price point. And then the second part is it's kind of a nod towards the traditional manga size. It's not quite there, but it's kind of close. And so we wanted to just kind of tip our hat to that art form and just celebrate the medium.
All right. I'm just trying to, because I haven't seen one of these in my hands yet. So I'm just trying to figure out, I know what 6x9 is because I publish novels in that size. I'm like, that's just an odd size for a 24-page floppy.
Well, I tell you what you do is you go and there's a catch-up tier for all 3 of them. And
there you go.
Beautiful books in your hands, and we can definitely actually send me your address after we're done here, and I'll put one in the mail for you tomorrow so you can.
I'll do it the legitimate way. I'll throw the money at it. And
by the way, while we're talking about throwing money, all of these tiers include postage in the United States and the territories. So if you're in Michigan, Texas, Alaska, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, that's the price you're paying.
So the $10 is the $10 is the $10.
$10 is the $10 is the $10. That's the digital. Now, if you're outside the United States or the territories, The difference between the international rate and the U.S. rate is appended in the pledge manager. So if you're in Great Britain, if you're in Australia, then the difference is appended there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I wish that Kickstarter and Indiegogo would, they know what your project weighs. They know where it's going. They should be able to calculate postage. But at the same time, dealing with postage the way I do all the time, that stuff changes on the fly. And with a 30-day campaign, it could be $45 to send to Australia and $80 by the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
So it's really trying to like nailing Jello to the wall to figure out what international postage is sometimes.
Quick shout out to Danny Morales at the Collective. Thanks, Danny.
Oh, and okay, so tell us about your characters here. You're keeping the names of the 47 Ronin, of which I do not know. So
right. We are keeping the names of the 47 Ronin throughout the series because it's important. Because this entire project is based on the history that we can retrieve, and then also on some of the theatrical performances that were, of course, being shown really from the early European traders. This whole story started really catching on, and so the cover for issue 3, in this instance, we are actually highlighting Tarasuke Nobuyuki, who was actually the youngest of the 47. Oftentimes people talk about Chikara, who was 16 at the time when he committed seppuku alongside his father. But Nobuyuki was actually the youngest by several years. I believe he was just turned 13 when Chikara committed seppuku alongside the others. And because of his age, the shogun actually wanted to spare his life and forbid him from committing seppuku alongside his fellows. And he lived to a ripe age, actually, I believe in his 70s. And when he actually finally did pass, he was interred along with the other 47.
We have a visitor has slipped in the back door here, and he happens to have 47 Furious Tales with him.
I heard RJ ask a question about the size, and I wanted to show everybody. This is the size compared to your comic book bag. Okay. This is number 2, by the way.
Paul Walcott cover. Yeah.
Look at that.
It's a nice stiff cover. Stands up by itself.
Stands up by itself. They're beautiful. Sam knows what he's doing. Alexia.
Oh, these are color interiors too.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing, dude.
Now, on the campaign, we're showing the black and white inked pages. We're going to be slowly cycling in the colored pages. Alexia has been coloring since, I believe, yesterday or the day before. And we're going to be showcasing those, I believe, beginning on Monday.
So that's the size difference between your normal comic and.
Well, that's not so bad.
No,
I was thinking. I knew 6x9 when he said it, and then I heard digest as well. I'm like, wait a second. When I think digest, I think like the Blue Ribbon digest or the Archie digest. That's a much smaller digest size.
Yeah, the digest size is more like the prints thing you see for like hardcovers and paperback novels. And
now, I do want you to know that this particular series of books definitely gets the Madness seal of approval. You know what I'm saying.
And we've got this thing set up to make it easy to get in people's hands too. Most of our tier is actually constructed with the postage and shipping and everything that we go through to get there. Ha! Frog, love it, man, love it.
I do want to say I read Reign of Angels yesterday.
Oh, what'd you think?
You know me. I'm not the review guy, but
Max.
Let me say I'm looking forward to issue 2.
You're gonna like Necroholic too.
You left us in a good place. We're like, dude.
I even went in that little banner on the bottom with the whole Stan Lee. Tune in next time, True Believer.
Yeah, I know. But it was definitely like one of those. No, you can't stop there. The nerve of you! Now I
Leave
have,
them wanting more.
Yeah.
yes, always leave them wanting more. I don't want
That book's beautiful too. I've got such access to fantastic talent. Nick Capone just absolutely crushed it with that book.
I just wanted to pop in and show everybody that size because I heard you guys talking about it. I wanted to demonstrate it live. I don't want to steal your time, Sam. I'll see you on Monday, bro.
All right, bro.
RJ, always a pleasure, my friend.
Same here, man. That's why you got the key to the back door.
You know it.
I'm gonna reload another one of these spicy gumballs so I can curb my cough a little bit.
Oh, so you've already hit your first stretch goal.
Yep.
Long past that now. So there's going to be an alternate cover option as an add-on.
Yep. And that variant cover is exactly $5 US plus one additional dollar to help mitigate the added shipping costs.
That makes sense. I see a lot of different anthropomorphic characters in the book. And, all this time I've been thinking, 47 squirrels. They're not all squirrels, are they?
Right. We've got hamster, squirrels, foxes. I'm forgetting somebody. We've got rats. We've got bunnies. A vast collage of different creatures. And in fact, in this one, you'll see a cat, anthropomorphic cat, and an anthropomorphic panda.
Are all the samurai different animals, or did you kind of keep them all the same?
Well, we actually keep them basically in that blend of character types. We have other like we have rats who are in our bad guys for easy distinction. We have in issue 2 and issue 3 particularly, we have these monkeys that are representing the gray wolf bandits, and with our samurai, we tend towards more like the squirrels, the foxes, the hamsters and cats, and the pandas. The key thing is to make sure that it's easy to distinguish different characters within our main character squad.
Yeah.
While at the same time, also making it easier to identify our bad guys, because you don't have good stories without good villains.
Yeah, anthropomorphic art is a good way to create that separator. I can imagine if you had to draw 47 people, just as the samurai themselves, let alone the bad guys and the supporting cast, that's a lot of distinct faces to create
definitely.
And keep separate. I mean, that's a huge cast.
Mm-hmm. And fortunately, we're not trying to spotlight all 47 because unfortunately, history for some of them doesn't have a lot of information on them, right? I mean, obviously there's some data there, but there's for some of them there just unfortunately isn't a lot of information preserved about what their role was in the incident itself.
Okay, so yeah, you got 47. There's 47, but maybe only 17 made a name for themselves. I'm pulling numbers out of the.
Well, we actually have all of their names. We do know all of their names because when they were buried, all that was very meticulously recorded, and it's actually present there. What we don't know is exactly some of their contributions. For example, we know a lot about what Yoshio did. We know a lot about Chikara's role, and then we also happen, just I guess incidentally, we also happen to know a lot about Kinemon Kanehide. We know a lot of things that he did, which were, I guess, in some cultural aspects, were kind of frowned upon, because he really did a lot through subterfuge. Horibe Yasube, we know a great deal about him. He was very, very highly spoken of, not just for his prowess, but also for his size, his accomplishments in battle. He was actually so well regarded that Horibe Yahe, who had long been in service in Eiko to the daimyos there, actually brought him into his family through marriage to his daughter. Had Yasube marry Yahe's daughter and took him basically as a son-in-law, by virtue just of the fact that he was such an amazing warrior.
So tell me about the writing process on this, because how do you keep it different when you're telling a story that's already done. I mean, this is true of any biography, of course, but we know how it ends.
Right. And the thing is that the period when this story happens, typically in most narratives, they gloss over almost 2 years that pass between the death of Asano and the revenge the 47 took upon their enemy, right? And that's kind of a shame because there's a lot of interesting things that happened in that period. So when you look at stage plays and such, they tend to hit just a couple of the high points, like Yoshio passing himself off as a drunkard, passing out in the streets and being kicked and spat on by people in the village, things like that. And then almost never, and I say almost never, I mean I guess I should say very, very rarely, will you ever hear about Yahei and how he went and became a priest at a shrine that was nearby Kira's home so that he could keep an eye on things as well, and also act to maintain communication with the rest of the 47 so that they would be able to coordinate things better. There was a lot that went into this that I think unfortunately gets overlooked. And there's also a lot of people who are only mentioned in passing that probably deserve a lot more attention. Yoshio's wife, for example, some of the spies that Kira utilized to try and keep an eye on Yoshio and some of the other key members of the 47, including hiring geisha and prostitutes to just try and pry information out of them, try and keep an eye on them. And Kira was rightly afraid that there would be blowback from what he orchestrated. And while he was right, their execution of their plan was such that he was caught unawares when they came for him.
Okay, so you said that a lot of the stuff gets glossed over in other retellings.
Right.
Are you able to go into the story in enough detail in just 288 pages? That's me bringing the calculator up to. So what's 12 times 24?
Yeah, it's about 288 pages is what we're looking at. And we won't be able to go into as much depth as I really, really, really would like, but we're going to be able to shine light on several things that we're told happened or that are implied that happened. Where there's holes in the historical record, tried to fill that in with some of the theatrical information. And then where that's lacking, we input information from what we knew was going on in the period. So that's one thing where the storyline with the Grey Wolf Bandits came into play. We put that in to try and reflect some efforts that were said to have been made by Kira when Asano made his way to Edo, because there was a lot of things going on that were making things uncomfortable for Kira, and he needed to find someone to cast suspicion, blame. He needed a distraction. He needed someone to draw the attention of the officials who were looking and trying to root out corruption. And what better spectacle than to have someone you were already a political adversary of create such a horrible offense that they have to commit seppuku before the shogun. It was a devious machination, and it paid off, and he ultimately paid the price for it.
Wow. It's this is it's a very dramatic story, obviously, but it's ultimately a Japanese story.
Yes.
It's part of that country's history. The way you're telling the story through the use of human-sized anthropomorphic animals,
Yes.
not just all the fox and the squirrel and the rabbit. They're all the same basic height. You don't have you didn't keep the proportions like they would be in nature. Do you have much of a Japanese audience?
A little bit. We typically see 3 or 4 people in Japan who are ordering this, and then a couple of people I know here in Kentucky and in Ohio who are Japanese or ethnically partially Japanese to one extent or another, who are fans of the series as well as people I know who are not Japanese but who live in Japan. My friend Danny Woosley, for example, and it has been well received from those people who have read it. I hope to eventually get it translated into Japanese and distributed in Japan one day, but it's going to require some rework so that it reads right to left, and then also so it means reordering pages. It means translation. It's going to be a little bit of work.
Oh yeah, and especially I've talked with people before because my first thought was like, well, you just reverse the page order and there you go. But your first splash page just kills that.
Yep.
So you
and that's really problematic for 47 too, because our very first page of our very first issue.
Let me give you the big screen here. Yeah, but I was thinking even more your double page splash, because now it's like you almost have to mirror it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly like that. That's God, that's beautiful though.
Well, Alexia Veldhausen is a remarkably skilled professional, formerly trained at the Kubrick School. She's fantastic to work with.
Yeah, the reason I asked why or if it was being well received in Japan in any way is because I've seen so many crowdfunding campaigns, and you always hear how manga is outselling and outpacing the American comics market. I'm like, and I never see anyone backing campaigns from Japan. I've seen one campaign originate from Japan. The guy's British. He just happens to live there. So I'm like, well, no, I'm not counting that. And with everything I've fulfilled, I've only ever sent one package to Japan. So I don't know, if there's just like, we've got enough manga. We don't need your stuff for.
Well,
if something I haven't seen.
The manga business is huge. You're talking about content that is cheaper. It is, generally speaking, cheaper. That has more content released much more rapidly. And in all honesty, there's a lot to be said for that methodology. So let's explore that for a minute then. With your typical manga production team, you have your writer, creator, who is basically saying this is how we're telling the story. They're taking that and usually putting it down into like, hey, what's up, Larry? Into like storyboards. And then what you have are people who are doing the backgrounds, people who are then putting in the character, or people who are putting in the character interactions, people who are then drawing in the backgrounds, and then putting in the lettering, the effects, and then the text bubbles, right? And so you're looking at 4 or 5, sometimes 6 or more people for one particular title. Hey, baby girl, I'll be in there in a minute, okay? What's that? Okay, honey. No, not right now. You go on, okay? I'll be there in a minute. My little girl, she's up a little late. She didn't get in the shower until late, so normally she'd have been in bed for a half an hour by now. But anyway, you get these teams, and they're producing page upon page upon page every single day. And so by the time you get through 4 or 5 days, you've got sometimes 20, 24 pages ready to go out for that week's, story. And doing that week after week, usually 48 weeks a year, that's a really deep amount of content. And so you can tell these longer, big, persistent stories. Hey, man, how's it going? And,
I don't want to interrupt our guests when they're talking, so I'll just highlight people's names and just acknowledge that I see the chat.
Excuse me. And so you get this really deep content, and then of course when it goes to print, almost all of them are just black and white. They're usually on a thin paper stock, like a newsprint grade stock, typically maybe just a little bit thicker. And they're getting these books out consistently, which lets you and in bigger volumes. So big volume gets your economy of scale on your print cost. Low price point equals more readily accessible price points for folks. So I mean, you could pick up. Sorry, just one moment.
We'll cut things short for you, man.
So sorry about that. I've been fighting this cough for a while, and I haven't quite beat
Yeah, I
it
know.
yet.
The longer you have to talk, I'm afraid the worse it's going to get. So we'll wrap up in a little bit.
But yeah, but the basically you get lower price points, more readily accessible content, and it's a fiercely competitive market. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of new titles that we never see because they're not like that top 5% that people bother to export to foreign markets. That's the kind of thing, is that Japan is this real brutal environment where the strongest titles get to move on into international markets, and their creators are very well enriched by that. And then you've got some folks who produce good quality content year after year after year, but they never really explode in popularity to where they get like their own anime series, or they start getting toys and stuff like that made. And it's a tough, brutal business.
Yeah, I've seen some manga compilations. I used to get things from Scholastic that would be manga reprints for review. And I'd be like, well, this is an ARC copy, obviously, because like the first 5 pages are in color and they just haven't colored all the rest of the pages. And then I'd see it in the store. I'm like, no, that's just the way they do it. They put color on the first couple pages, and then they're like, yep, you're in now. You finish it in black and white.
It's like an extra couple of pages attached to the cover, basically.
Yeah, it's a bizarre concept for me. But here's where we're seeing some preview pages from issue number 3.
Right. And again, these are just the hand inked pages. We're going to add the colored versions to kind of show the progress of the development over the next couple of weeks.
So we got one of the squirrel samurai here being chased by some monkeys.
Yeah, actually, one of the villagers here. You'll once more of the details are brought out in the color, you'll see that she's fleeing for her life. Yeah, you see the gray wolf bandits hot on her tail.
I think
There's some real brutality in this story. It's very true to the age.
Well, and that's why I compared it to the original Turtles, because they were slicing and dicing, and it was very, very much a gritty story there. This is. I'm going to need words to know everything that's going on, but I do love the artwork that I'm seeing on this.
Mm-hmm. And Alexia gets a lot of practice with this series. And that's for certain.
So here's where I wanted to get to before we cut off. We can get to the rewards here.
Sure.
Obviously, the PDFs. Look at this. You can get PDF number 3 for 3, or you can get all 3 of them for 6. You're not charging them for one of them.
Right. We try to make sure that everything's as affordable as possible. And the thing about digital is easy to fulfill. It saves time. And if I can put it in people's hand, and after the Kickstarter fees and everything, still make good progress towards paying the team, six makes it work.
Yeah. And, I'm not a digital guy, but I know so many people who, they have very good reasons why it has to be digital for them. So always good to see a tier. If you don't have a digital tier, you're just leaving money on the table.
Oh, yeah.
I hear, piracy. I'm like,
Well, I do my fulfillment through Drive-Thru Comics. So each page has a watermark embedded on it. And so when someone does try to rip it off, I actually have the watermark to track down the specific user the file came from. Oh. And as someone who works for the court, I can tell you I'm not afraid to litigate against anybody. So
you watermark it down to the individual when it goes through there.
That's actually a product of Drive-Thru Comics. Drive-Thru Comics does that for you.
That's nice. That's like when I get Warner Brothers movies streamed to me in advance. And it always says, hey, it's Critical Blast, RJ Carter. It's always like, slightly bouncing around the screen. I'm like, I got to where I don't see it anymore, but it was annoying at first.
Yep. Same concept.
Yeah, same thing. Just making sure you don't, video your screen.
And the Digital Deluxe, that has the 92-page artist edition along with it. So you're actually talking about 160-something pages of 150-something pages of content for $10.
That's nice. If you like to see the black and white, you want to get in the pencil details, artist editions are always the way to go. Mm-hmm. The printed book, $15 for issue number 3. And as you mentioned earlier, if people didn't see it or hear you, that includes the postage in the United States.
The United States and the territories, yep. So if you live in Puerto Rico or you live in any of the other territories, you're not going to pay more money just because you happen to be in a territory. As far as I'm concerned, we're all Americans, and the postage is literally only a few cents difference. So it'll all work out in the wash. Now, if the entire island of Puerto Rico orders them, I'll be hurting. But cross that.
But you'll make up for it in volume.
Yeah, we hope, right? We hope.
Yeah. What a problem to have. I got to ship to the entire island. You can catch up, and this is where I'm going to be hitting it. You can get all 3 of the issues out so far. $25. Still postage paid. All the physicals are postage built into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the $35 artist edition. This is just the black and white. Is this the same size then? Is this the 6x9 as well?
Right, it's the 6x9, and that Sumi tier is your PDFs for issue 3, your print copy of issue 3 in your full color, and of course your artist edition in print. So this is going to get you caught up and get you. This is basically designed for those folks who have been supporting the campaign previously. They have physical copies of issue 1 and issue 2, and they want to round it out. This is where we're
okay.
leading in.
Yeah, the image doesn't quite convey the fact that yes, you also get the color copy of number 3 as well.
Right, it's just listed in the tier description.
Yeah, nobody reads.
Well, see, I hope that they do, because we put a lot of effort in making sure that we give the best detail for that. But you're right. Sometimes people just don't see it.
We don't read bullet points sometimes. We see, there's the picture, that's $35, and that's what I get. It's like a price tag in an item.
And Alexia named this tier the Veldhusen Fury tier, which I thought was fun. These are all 3 of the issue 1, 2, and 3 in print, the Veldhusen covers. The 1 through 3 PDF, the artist edition in print and in PDF, all in one nice bundle, packed up and sent to you.
Okay, so now I'm going to not look at the pictures here and see this. You get 1 through 3 of the artist edition and 1 through 3 of the PDFs.
You get 1 through 3, you get the artist edition in PDF and in print, and then you get the 1 through 3 of the print copy.
Oh, I see. 1, 2, 3, and the artist edition. Okay. Mm-hmm. I thought there was like an artist edition with each book, and it was
no. It's all together in one, and it's actually more economical for printing that way. And we get nice, perfect bound book at 92 pages, as opposed to putting out 3 other comics in Sally Stitch.
Okay. I'm caught up now. This artist edition is a much thicker book, and it's the compendium of the first 3 issues in black and white.
Right. It's all 3 in their black and white of the original hand ink pages. Right.
Okay. So this is basically a everything you've ever done in print for 47 Furious Tales at this level right here. $45. Right.
Now it is unlettered on the artist edition, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Here's the Cherry Blossom tier. I say that because that's the only Japanese word I know.
This was actually we got suggested this by a couple different people when I was on a stream a couple of years ago with Pops, and this is kind of what came of that. Alexia takes and does a custom, a sketch on the inside of the Gemini for you. We ship that to you. That Gemini isn't shipped bare. That's packed into a bubbled envelope to help protect the Gemini as well. And so you get a one-of-a-kind sketch on the inside plus your books. And it's been actually very popular. We have to limit it, so it's the first 10 people and then it's gone. And I think we've got most of those spoken for, if I'm not mistaken. So if anyone wants that, they need to hurry because we're going to run out pretty quick. Yeah, we only got 3 left.
So
not bad for 2 days, right?
not bad at all. You're getting a piece of original art and a comic book for $65. Yeah, that's better than convention prices.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is different. This is there's no squirrels here.
Right.
Reign of Ages. Now we talked about this a while back, but refresh me real quickly.
Well, we launched the Reign of Ages Kickstarter campaign in January, successfully funded and then fulfilled in February, with all backers shipped a little more than a week ago. Except I do have 4 who haven't responded to surveys. I've been tapping on the shoulder a little bit. But we have a very limited supply of those books remaining. And so we have 50 of these tiers available where you get not just your 47 Furious Tales content. As you'll see in the description here, you get all of your digital PDF copies. You get your 47 Furious Tale issue 1 through 3, and that's all covers. Okay, so that's your if you look down into the description here for the Snow Collectors tier, you're getting both variants for issue 2, and then you're going to get issue 3. You're actually going to get both variants for that issue 2 since we unlocked the variant from Paul Walcott. But as you may know, once someone's pledged a tier in Kickstarter, you can't then edit it subsequently. So those folks pledging this are also getting that book. And so you're basically getting this huge stack of comics for your collection, including all three covers rather, of the Reign of Ages one. So you've got the J.P. Buzio Virgin variant, which only 300 of those were produced. The Nick Capone Virgin variant, only 700 of those were produced. And then the Reign of Ages main cover by Shigul Senev, which we have blown up for size there, which we're actually running out of already too, thankfully.
It's a good problem to run out of books until you actually need them again.
Well, here's the other thing too, is I don't reprint covers. Hey, Heroinberg, what's up, man?
That's a good plan.
So the thought behind that is to make sure that we preserve value for everyone who's been supporting us early on. And the other thing too is that it kind of does wonders for our artists, because they'll have to turn around and buy more covers, cover work from them, which is a really good problem to have for the contributing artists.
And then of course people who bought the last cover are like, well, I want that one too.
Yeah, I mean, we try to make sure we have just crack talent on these. I mean, we had Fernando Ruiz, who's famous for Archie Comics, who did the top variant for issue 2. You see on the screen right now where the bandits are over the burning village with Shakara in the front with his sword. And then Paul Walcott just to the right with his image there underneath the moon. And just really strong cover artists for this particular, for this series as a whole. The interesting thing too is I made a deal with Alexia after she produced the first cover for issue 1. That and I mean, it wasn't in the contract or anything, but I made a deal with her, and that was that whenever we had to do new covers for issue 1, I'd always make sure that she was the only person who did covers for issue 1. So we gotta keep her as busy as we can.
Yes, keep her. Period. Yeah,
that's kind of the plan. Keep her very busy.
And these covers for 1 through 3 are being available as prints, 11 by 17. So now you're getting really big.
Right.
Pictures.
So we print these on really high grade stock as well. We have the cover art and then the ACO Castle 2-page spread from issue 1 as well. And then that collection ships out with not just the 11 by 17s, but also the 5.5 by 8.5s that come with it. That Shogun tier is a big attraction for folks who like their nice comic art framed and ready to go. These ship they don't ship framed. They either ship in top loaders or in their own shipping box inside their USPS.
Top loaders were hard to find for the longest time.
They still are, and so I may have to be ordering from Pack Lane to get some more custom boxes for these, because right now it's really, really hard to find enough top loaders. Because just with this right here, you got to realize I use up most of an entire pack of top loaders just for one order.
Now, I bypassed because it wasn't on the description here, but you do have a retailer collective for $108.
Well, that's unique to the collective. All the retailer tiers are custom built to the stores themselves. So instead of just having one size fits all, because they never do, we're building them custom just like we did with Reign of Ages. Right now we have 2 that are on there. The collective has already pledged theirs. The box in Leesville, Louisiana has theirs up. They're probably going to pledge that later tonight. And if you scroll down, you'll see that the box has a sizable order as well. And what this does is this lets me take and customize the needs of the retailer to the actual tier itself. And so every retailer gets their own tier. And we'll go ahead and mix in not just 47 if they need copies of Reign, if they need RPG books, if they need 11 by 17s or what have you. I go ahead and put that together. We figure out the price point so that they're getting around a 50% retailer discount since they're buying in bulk, and then we ship it out directly. And this is basically only possible because I tend to buy in larger press runs.
Yeah, so if you guys are near Leesville, Louisiana, or you want to call up their number and say, hey, I want to buy the book, assuming you haven't bought it from the campaign, which is what you should be doing. But send your friends there. Say, hey, if you want this book I got, they've got it over at this comic shop. Run them dry, guys.
Yeah, and we're shipping these next month. So I mean, the box is going to have those. They actually just got a shipment of Reign of Ages from us as well. So if you're in the Leesville area and you haven't read Reign, go see them at the box. Get those books before they're gone.
All right, and you got this Legacy Ronin tier, which is all the items, but more importantly is this original piece of art from Alexia.
Right, we got a Ronin tier and then the Legacy Ronin tier. The Ronin tier is making available original art from issue 3, and then the Legacy one is the last remaining original art piece that I have from issue 2. Now I believe Alexia still has some in herself, but this is the last one of the ones that I bought upon creation. It's that one there on the screen, and your chance to get an original Alexia Veldhausen. And of course, our Daimyo tier was claimed by a dear friend of mine, Chris, who is getting a dedication, the Daimyo haiku and an original art page from issue 3.
Very nice. All right, so you've unlocked the first stretch goal. The next stretch goal in line is the $5,000 stretch goal is a Q&A stream with you and Alexia.
Yeah, we're gonna do a private Q&A stream with the backers. We'll go ahead and announce that date, probably the last week of the campaign. What's up, Gregory? How you doing, man? And we're going to get that facilitated and basically just spend an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just addressing any questions that the backers have, and sharing insights onto how the project is done, and just basically fielding whatever they want to know.
All right, 8,000. Alexia gets a plane trip.
Alexia gets a plane trip. In the previous campaigns, we had them structured in the part of the year where it coincided with my trip to New Jersey for conventions. This year, that is not the case for this campaign particularly. So we're going to fly her down at 8,000, and this will allow everyone who wants their books to be signed not just by me, but also the principal artist, Alexia Veldhausen, as well.
Very cool. 10,000. There'll be a new art print added, 5.5 by 8.5.
Yep.
By Warren Brown.
That's correct. That's
I don't know his name, but I know Phil Leon's name.
Warren is really very remarkable. It was my pleasure to actually bring him in on the campaign for Dungeons and Dames, and he contributed several really remarkable pieces for that project.
Oh yeah.
Now, Warren doesn't work in color as he is colorblind. I think I'm allowed to say that. If not, Warren, you can kick my ass when you see me. But I'll tell you something. He has such a depth in his work when he's working in black and white, and his grayscales is just phenomenal what he's able to accomplish. Just a truly very skillful, very talented artist. And then, of course, Phil Leon, the electric crayon himself, will color over that piece. And then we'll have this fantastic art print from these two fantastic talents.
And then you're still carrying over the secret art tier, or the secret $15,000 tier, I should
secret
say.
$15,000 stretch goal. Actually, Alexia was picking on me yesterday. She's like, "You still haven't told me what that is." I said, "I'm still not going to until we get to $10,000." So
get to 10,000, then make it something people want.
Well, I guess you'll have to wait and find out. So let's get to 10K first, and when we get to 10K, I'll reveal the 15,000 stretch goal.
All right. Well, we talked about the retailer stretch goals here.
Here's the thing too about the retailers. All those logos are interactive, and so if you access them, it'll take you either to their social media page or their store website, depending on which one they wanted linked. And that way you can go ahead and just check out what's going on in their social media circles or on the web store, depending.
Very, very cool. You mentioned multiple times here that you guys do RPG games. Is there a plan for 47 Furious Tales RPG?
Alexia is asking about us doing that, and I'm a big fan of her work, and I think it's definitely something that we can do. I do want to finish the comic first,
Sure.
and get through all 12 issues, because a role-playing game is a different project entirely, and requires, not just intensive artwork, but also a lot of game development, game testing, excuse me, things of that sort. Now I have the advantage of utilizing a system that the system creator and I spoke with, and I made some modifications to it, and I have his express permission to release it, even though technically you can't copyright game mechanics and dice mechanics. I feel it would be rude not to at least consult him. He was very energetically supportive. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that a lot of people will be very pleasantly surprised. And of course, with it being a role-playing game, we'll have to also release a 5e edition, or no one will speak to me. So we'll be putting it out in 2 versions once we're ready.
Yeah. And I know that Greg Levitt is working on a collectible card game, which is, the engine for that is going to be open sourced for other people to use so that they can put their characters into it and have their own decks. Obviously, with 47 Samurai, you got plenty of cards to build up a big deck of game deck if you want to go that route.
Definitely.
Harrenberg the Sea was for the collective. That's their address right here. Is they're in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Yes, indeed. So everyone who's in and around the collective, if you want to get 47 Furious Tales, go in there, say, hey, Danny, I need to pre-order this, and buy up everything. Make it so that we have to redo his tier to up his order level. I'm a big fan in supporting our local shops. We've been making a lot of effort to do that. And we actually have several other shops we're going to be adding tiers for over the next few days. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. But yeah, if you're in the area around Altamonte Springs and you want 47 Furious Tales, go ahead and order that from the collective, and they'll get it to you. You won't have to worry about the shipping. You can pick it up nice and safe at the store, along with the other 47 Furious Tales fans when it comes in.
Yeah, whether in a retailer store or, here's a thought: go to your own shop and say, I want this book. And when they say they can't get it through Diamond, say, you can get it here. Contact Sam.
Yeah.
Have them make their own tier up.
And we will literally customize it to them. The only restriction we have for retailer tiers is that they need to order at least 25 books to help cover the shipping cost, right?
Absolutely.
So at least 25 books. That sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you're talking about retailer. Three different issues. Plus, if they want to get Reign of Ages or any RPG books or anything like that, it's a total of 25 or more.
All right. Sam, thank you very much for bringing 47 Furious Tales to us tonight and sharing it with our viewers.
It's always a pleasure.
Same here. I always learn something new. I might forget it before the next time, but I've learned it for right now. I've got it in my head.
And make sure you reach out to Max Seville. His project is going like gangbusters. We're running like neck and neck on the number of backers right now, and just doing everything we can to lift each other up and lift up folks like Gage the Wolf and Armand and all these guys who are creating such gorgeous indie comics.
Yeah, you're ahead of him in dollars. He's ahead of you in backers.
Yep.
So it's a race.
The retailer tiers kind of help me cheat on that a little bit,
This is true. Plus, your squirrels don't have big enough boobs. It's a restriction you got to work with.
Yeah, I mean, that's history for you. Squirrels don't have large breasts.
No, they don't. I have seen them have large nuts. And I didn't mean the kind they eat. I've seen literal pictures of squirrels caught in fences by their scrotums.
Those poor things.
Yes, I know. Anyway, folks in the chat, thank you all for popping in tonight. We don't have a show without you. If you're watching this on replay, the link to the Kickstarter is right below the video. Click on it. If you were in the chat, you could have clicked on it at the very top. Make sure you can't miss it. And like I said, we don't have a show unless you're here to watch it. So thank you again for being here. And as always, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Good night, everybody.